good?
It looks weird.
Okay, don't do that then.
I took a photo.
I think we have to take your picture first.
Hey guys, it's Ricky here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Try saying that 20 times fast. Today we took a bit of a different approach. For our first impressions and just kind of quick first look, we wanted to actually go out to a park and take a look there. So we did everything there. We took the phone out of the box, did that whole thing at the park. Pro tip, if you're ever trying to set up a new phone, probably don't do that on cellular. Learned that lesson the hard way, spent the better part of our daylight actually just downloading all of our stuff. So a few notes that I have from today. I do feel like AI this year has been the craze. It has been the first and foremost feature on every device, and Google spent most of their entire presentation talking about Gemini
Nano.
Honestly, you probably, if you weren't paying attention, might not have even noticed new phones, because they even led using other phones to talk about Gemini.
Gemini is multimodal and gives me the information I'm looking for. Oh,
All that aside, I do want to say I really like this phone. For me, it's a very nice balance coming from an iPhone. I love the shape of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and while I do very much love the design of the Galaxy S24 Ultra, I do feel like this is that nice middle spot, and honestly, Google's hardware team crushed it this year. I feel like this is the most refined looking Pixel that they have ever made. For me, this outer little trim, the visor that it used to be, I think this is the best shape that it's ever had. Now, one of the next things that I noticed immediately is the new fingerprint sensor. While it is not as fast as the Galaxy S24 Ultra, it is heaps and bounds better than the last Pixel that I used, which was the Google 6 Pro. If you compare those, it's night and day. And a lot of people, you have to remember, are upgrading from the Google Pixel 8 Pro. A lot of people are holding other phones for multiple years. The display is incredibly bright when it wants to be. Today at the park, and admittedly, we were running off of probably like 40% battery life, so I don't know if it's any different there. But the display, despite having 3000 nits of peak brightness, I did not feel that. Holding it directly side by side to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, to the Galaxy S24 Ultra, every single other phone was pushing their brightness up to the max, while this phone seemed to really not want to. Could I still see the display just fine? Yes. I don't know why, it was just deciding not to show the full brightness. One of the most fun features we got to play around with today was the Add Me feature.
You like right here?
I am, yeah.
Let me know when I'm on your waist.
Lower. Okay, you're on my waist.
Okay. Look good?
It looks weird.
Okay, don't do that then.
I took a photo.
I think we have to take your picture first.
Hopefully the audio's decent here. This is not ideal, but our first time taking this, we created this masterpiece. Look. See, it's all about me, right? It's all about me. You're in my shot.
Yep, that's what it is. So you cannot use this when you want to put your arm around someone because it puts your arm in front. So unless you're really good at Photoshop, that's not something that you want.
This is actually a better one. Like, it is a better, like, you can see there's not the, like, hollow grass. Like, look at this. Like, there's not the weird AI grass behind you.
This feature is not perfect in its current implementation, but the thing about a lot of technology these days is this is the worst it's ever going to be. And I'm hoping to see, in terms of AI features, it should be a feature across multiple phones. So I'm hoping that it does well enough that it's adopted. If you're willing to give it a little bit of patience, do a few retries, you can get a pretty decent photo that doesn't require you to have a degree in Photoshop. And for me, that is an incredible feature to have in a pinch. And a lot of these features for AI really feel like features that are built for being in a pinch. But it starts asking and begging the question of what is a photo? Because using this phone, you don't feel like you do on other phones. You don't have the confidence immediately opening the camera that you're going to get a good shot. In fact, we took a selfie at the end of the night, just wanted to test the camera. During that picture, when you're taking it, the grain on that photo is so noticeable. It is one of those things that you can definitely tell that software makes up for a lack in hardware. The camera itself was not prepared to handle that low of light, and while it did turn out really well, and for a selfie camera, I think it looks great. I do feel like you don't have that confidence in the moment to take the photo, and I think for a lot of people, that could be very discouraging. I think if you handed anybody this phone and asked them to take a selfie where we were at night, they might not have had the same confidence to actually take that photo that we did. Now that all changes when you go to use the new panorama feature, because the new UI for that is actually incredible. It's still not perfect. The panorama that I took today actually has a couple of noticeable, I'd say fades to the next photo. So it is definitely one of those things that still isn't perfectly polished, but it is still really good. So if you're trying to take a quick panorama, I do feel like this phone nails that experience. And I'm hoping a couple of software updates that those seams won't be as bizarre as they were. The next subject for this phone, and something that we got to do a little bit of preliminary testing, is Gemini. Gemini is Google's solution to AI. Admittedly, it feels a bit underbaked in its current implementation. We took a moment to actually ask it about a recipe.
Give me a few recipe ideas. I would like to try something a bit more Mediterranean.
Sure, here are a few ideas to get you started. You could try making a classic hummus with chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, and garlic. It's a great appetizer or snack with pita bread and veggies. Or, for something a little more substantial, try a lentil soup.
Something really important is actually that I'm allergic to tree nuts, so I want to make sure that no recipes or anything that we have would include that.
Thanks for letting me know about your allergy. What about a seafood paella? It's got lots of great Mediterranean flavors like saffron, tomatoes, and shrimp. Or maybe a roasted vegetable and goat cheese tart. Oh, and just a reminder, I don't provide
I
medical
actually
advice or
don't like
diagnosis.
tomatoes. Is there something that doesn't have tomatoes?
Okay, let's find a tomato-free option. How about a roasted garlic and spinach frittata with feta cheese?
Well, that sounds good.
Great, I can pull up the recipe for you.
Perfect. Is there step-by-step just directions on how to make it? I'm really new to cooking.
All right, I'll find you a recipe that's designed for beginners. You might want to write down the ingredients first, so you know what to pick up at the store.
Now you can see during that whole experience, creating that recipe, I didn't realize how much you had to speak up and how much you had to continue doubling down to talk in order for it to actually realize it's being interrupted. But it did work with me on my allergies. It worked with me on a particular dietary request of, I don't really want tomatoes in this particular dish. It is a very conversational piece, and it's something that actually makes me excited for an assistant software, because I think this whole AI landscape that we're in, they're just trying to find stuff for it to do. They're just trying to find things that you would want to buy their product for. A lot of this stuff is very wow factory. With Gemini, it feels underbaked. It feels a little bit like it's missing that secret sauce, that little piece that really connects it all together. And that's where I'm a bit more excited for Apple's implementation of AI. Obviously, got to actually get my hands on it. But when you think about how this AI should work, right now it's currently branched from Google Assistant. So if you ask it to do certain things that Google Assistant handles, it doesn't want to do that. And in fact, it doesn't really hand off to it. You'd think that at this point in stage, it would do a better job of, okay, well, now we're looking at a recipe. Why can't I also ask you to remind me to get that from the store? Because it's got this like false premise. You end up being allured by how conversational it is and how it can take additional information even more than what Google Assistant can, and how it listens to you and can really like riff off of that and do more complex tasks. But then when you ask it to do the basics that you already trust your existing Google Assistant to do, that's when you start to see some of the problems and the feeling that it's being kind of rushed out to the table.
Can you remind me when I go to the store next time to get these ingredients?
So I can't use Google Tasks or reminders yet when we are live. For now, going live is great for things like chatting, finding answers, or brainstorming new ideas.
I think this is in a world of pure competition. Everybody's trying to be the first to do it the best. Well, Google has been sitting high on their pillar with Google Assistant, because Google Assistant has long been the best. It listens better, it understands your voice better. Gemini is an upgrade on that, and it feels very exciting to have something that is new and something that you want to actually use. Yet, when you use it, it still feels very decoupled. It feels like you have to move from one train car to the next to get something done. And when you have to go between multiple assistants, it gets confusing. And for me personally, the fact that you have both on this phone makes it feel very Google Assistant Bixby, and that doesn't feel very Google to me. Right now, until those are kind of paired together or until Gemini takes over for Assistant, it's gonna feel weird right now. Not to say that it wasn't a good experience. In fact, I had a better experience than I thought using the Google Pixel Studio. But you can definitely tell that there are some handrails that are currently missing in Google's current implementation of their image generator. There are some, and you will notice those firmly. It does not do people. Dare you even trek on a word that is even remotely suggestive? Admittedly, my wife did make the prompt say, whale squirting out of its blowhole, which is not as suggestive as you might think, but was definitely a prompt we fed to it that it absolutely rejected.
Okay. A whale blowing out of its what?
Blowhole.
Blowhole. Got it.
That's what it's called.
Blow goal
I
on
gotta type.
Mount Everest. See if it makes it. An unknown error occurred.
Doesn't know what a blowhole is.
Maybe it doesn't.
However, on that same note, we were able to have it generate an image of Charmander doing tax evasion. So I have questions.
Charmander working on his taxes, but is actually committing tax fraud.
I don't know if it's gonna like that one.
No blowhole,
Oh my
but he's
gosh,
committing
seriously?
tax fraud.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Charmander.
Hold on. Yeah, that just seems like. Okay, you guys need to get your priorities. If it's okay that he can commit tax fraud, but I can't say blowhole.
It's fun, but I don't really see the use of it. It's one of those things that you will use a few times, but not really touch beyond that. I wanted to dive a little bit deeper on the screenshots feature, but that will take a little bit of usage, which is a perfect segue to what this video really is boiling into, which is the next step. So I am a long time iPhone user. I am someone who always falls back onto my iPhone ecosystem. I love my iPhone. This time I'm going to be making the actual switch over to the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL as my daily phone for a little over 30 days. Initially it was going to be just a 30-day challenge, but for some reason Google split off their Pixel Watch. So I want to make sure I give a full 30 days wearing the new Google Pixel Watch. Officially put my SIM card in this phone. I am excited to be using this phone. It is fun to use. It's been a pleasure. I want to see if the experience on Android has gotten any better. Other than that, I do want to add a little caveat, mostly due to the controversies going around this. I am not affiliated with hashtag Team Pixel, nor have I been provided a actual review unit. This is entirely out of my own pocketbook. So I want to make sure that everything is clear, that all of these testimonials, all this communication in regards to this are all entirely my own opinions. Google did not pay for, nor will they have any sort of creative editorial rights on anything that I create. Anyways, if you want to watch another video, you can check out my Galaxy Z Fold 6 review up in the corner. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourself a wonderful day.